Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and wow, we got such a wonderful topic that we're going to talk about today that I know everybody should need to pay attention to this one because we're going to talk about fitness. We're going to talk about health. We're going to talk about your doctor said you need to diet and exercise. Once he said that, what's next? I mean, are you going to do it? Or are you going to sit back and say, okay, he really don't mean that? I get around to that, but I got this bag of chips I got to eat. And I'll just, that little pound cake right there, I'm looking at that one, so no, we're going to have fun. We got this absolutely extraordinary guest, own their own gym, lots of great things, military, former military, person retired, all these great things. And she's going to talk to us about health, about fitness, about understanding. And before we can even get to this, I got to always bring my absolutely wonderful, sensational executive producer and co-host, Dr. Michelle Denise Cooley. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I love when we have fitness and health people on our show. I mean, I love all our guests. Me and you are into fitness, so it's really, really interesting. But, I love this topic because, well, not that but that, when your physician does tell you about diet and exercise, they kind of give you like a sheet of paper or generic or just, look at this website. But, a person has to be mentally ready. And it's easier said than done. Not every diet, not every health plan works for everybody. So I'm excited about this show.
I'm excited about it as well. And you just mentioned something. You got to be mentally ready, but you also got to want to. I mean, you have to listen to the doctor's advice, but you also have to listen to your advice from a personal standpoint and listen to health professionals like Liz. I tell you, I can't wait to get this started. And if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is just go to whichever platform you're watching it on, whether it's E360 Television, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and over 25 other live streaming platforms. Jump in, ask this great guest any question you like, and join the party. Michelle, can you please introduce the title of the show, purpose of the show, and this absolutely wonderful guest that we have?
Yes, the title of the show is So Your Doctor Said You Need to Diet and Exercise. So now what? We're going to talk with Liz Hunt, United States Airforce veteran, owner of Anytime Fitness in Callaway, a certified exercise physiologist, and a personal trainer. We're going to talk about transtheoretical models, the psychological factors, and the where and how. And when you're giving this information by your doctor, where do you start? Research and taking action, and also talking about the relationship between any of your chronic diseases or illnesses and what foods might be keeping you sick, and creating a healthy lifestyle change program. So let's introduce our guest today, Liz Hunt. She's been on the show before, so we're just going to reintroduce her. She's a United States Air Force Security Forces craftsman and celebrates her 15 years of service alongside her transition from combat boots to sneakers as a now Anytime Fitness gym owner. Liz Hunt is the 2017 Operation Heart First recipient who was gifted a gym via partnership with nonprofit Teed Up for the Troops, a once-a-year grant program providing an opportunity for a combat disabled veteran to own their own gym. While on active duty, she deployed as a special operations enabler over 12 times, leading the way for other females to be eligible to fulfill detainee transfer requests regardless of gender role and multi-AOs. Well, with 15 years of experience as a certified exercise physiologist, who queries medical background and genetic trends of every one of her patients to create custom exercise prescriptions from cardiac rehab, cancer remission therapy, myofascial stretch therapy, holistic nutrition, and many, many more. Liz just loves making everybody happy, and she is a former NPC women's bodybuilder competitor and enjoys hit and spin. So please welcome back to the show, Liz Hunt.
How you doing, Liz? Welcome
Oh
back
my
to the show.
gosh. I am so blessed and humbled to be here. I mean, this is such an exciting topic. So thank you once again for just giving us this opportunity to talk today.
I think this is the perfect time to talk about that one because spring just happened a week ago, and people want to get out on the beach. They want to do a lot of great things, vacations. But one thing that I think that they need to be mindful of is you have to take care of yourself first. And if you don't know how to do it, go and hire a professional like you to train them, teach them, show them how, give them instructions. And Liz, sometimes people need that because they're not
Mhm.
disciplined enough to do that yourself. So do that themselves. Liz, can you tell our viewers that didn't see you on the show last time a little bit about you, where you grew up, and what inspired you to be doing what you're doing right now?
Yes, of course. So my father was Air Force. He was a maintenance officer, and I pretty much grew up overseas. So we moved to Germany when I was 8 and stayed between Germany and Turkey until we returned to the United States when I was turning 16. So it was very foreign for me to go into like the school system in America and be around civilians and be off base and just all of these other freedoms that I guess I was more, in a contained kind of environment. So it was really natural for me to just immediately know that I belonged back into the military. So as soon as I turned 19, I ended up joining the Air Force and became military police, which in the Air Force is called security forces.
Wow. Was there any one moment that you looked at and said, I mean, because you were waiting until she turned 18, that inspired you to even motivate and inspired you to join the military immediately?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I love the camaraderie that happens, especially like in an overseas like type environment. You don't really see that a lot stateside, right? Because we have all these extra freedoms and opportunities. But I think that just watching my dad being a section commander and leading and inspiring all these young people underneath him, it really motivated me to be bigger than myself, and it allowed me to learn that what one of the things that I guess like God gave me as a gift is to outreach, and the military is a wonderful platform to do that, to lead and inspire.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the military taught me so much. I spent 23 years in there and discipline and understanding. And I'm talking about just doing things that inspires your core values on what you live by today. Uh, can you tell our viewers and listeners, uh, did Air Force, how did the Air Force, I mean, I'm sure they inspired your core values, well, you took all of that training, you took all that information, and it formulated you into the person that you are today and helping people and doing all of those great things. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about myself. There's so many other people we have to help. But thank you. No, I mean the three tenant values of the Air Force is integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all you do. And those three tenants right there. I mean that's pretty much like my guide and my direction on how I choose to live my life.
Absolutely. So the title of the show is so important, I believe. Can you tell us why you chose this title and why is this title so important to you? Your doctor said you need to diet and exercise. Now what? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, every single day I have beautiful bodies, whatever it is that they look like, that come in because their doctor told them that they had to. The doctor didn't really give them a lot of explanations as to really what changing up their diet or their exercise would do. But the doctor did instill, a metric ton of fear into them because, when you find out that you have really bad cholesterol, your blood work comes back, maybe showing that you're on the cusp of a congestive heart failure. You have diabetes, like diabetes is a killer, all of these different chronic illnesses that we know that exercise is medicine and that can be combated with proper nutrition training, and then of course guided exercise. So I think that this subject is so relevant, so important because if folks just go home with this veil of fear now, because they've got to figure out like what they're going to do to change their lifestyle. Unfortunately, going onto Instagram and seeing like what these fit models and social media influencers from all these other gym walk life, that's not the way to go. Whatever it is that those folks are doing, that's their journey. It has nothing or no application towards like what it is that you're doing. So I think that that's one of the biggest.
Okay, I think.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear
me? I got you. We got you back.
Sorry about that. So I think that's what I really want to just slow things down. So, and it might not even be like that the doctor told you need diet and exercise. Like you could be still reeling from the fact that, January just happened. We all know what happens in January with new year, new me, all of that stuff. And then here we are, like we're about to enter into April. Are you still on track? Did something significant really change this year? Because at the end of the day, like until you've got your brain, your mind right on why it is that you need to make this change, it's never going to stick.
You're right about that. And a lot of people, just like you mentioned, New Year resolutions, and they do it for the first couple of days, pretend, and then they switch back to just old themselves. And so, well, I'll just wait until next year, or I start give it a couple more months. And in the meantime, we're becoming even more unhealthy. And in a lot of different ways, the way we eat, not exercising enough, not paying attention to the professionals that's out there to help you. So Liz, so knowing all these things and working with all these people coming out the military, what made you decide that I want to be an exercise physiologist, all this other type of stuff? I want to help people. I want to show them how to do it. I just want to do it.
So I did suffer a knee injury while deployed in 2007 that subsequently led me to require a total knee replacement. That's while I was still active duty. And, being a cop and then coming off of a total knee replacement, you're out of commission for almost a year, which, was terrible for me because I loved deploying. I loved everything that we were able to do in theater to support like these, the dudes that don't exist and whatever else it is. So anyway, I was assigned an exercise physiologist to help me after I finished physical therapy. And that EP just empowered me so much. Everything that doctors were saying that I would probably not be able to do, or I might be susceptible to being like medically discharged as a result of my injuries. That guy said, why do we have to subscribe to that? At the end of the day, you got a total knee. It's a new one. So like, let's just go ahead and do what we can with it. And if we need to get you another one, we'll just get you another one. And it was, that simplisticness of his empowerment that made me realize that like, I want to change my career trajectory. I don't want to pursue criminal justice anymore. I want to be in the exercise science world where I can look at somebody else that's, walking around like a baby deer and empower them the way that guy did me. So that's what I'm doing or trying to do.
No, you're doing it. We're going to take a station break. But if you want to be part of this great conversation with Liz, all you have to do is just go to the platform that you're on, go to the comments, ask her any questions that you like, and I promise you we'll get you an answer. We'll be back shortly after the break. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Coley.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. I got my fantastic guest here, Liz Hunt, and she's doing so many great things. And I'm telling you, she owns her own gym, helping people out, trying to educate our public on what it requires to attain fitness, stay fit, and also continue to learn. So if you got any questions that you want to ask her, by all means, go to the comments and ask any questions like.
Yes. Liz, what is the Transtheoretical model? I looked it up myself because I didn't know what it was, but I hear that it has a lot of components to it, especially about your behavior and your attitude and your mindset. So can you just break down what is a Transtheoretical model and how it applies to this topic?
Yeah, so the change model was produced by Dr. Prochaska in 1977, and so he made kind of like a pie wheel where it's showing what everybody's interest is in making a change and putting it into different categories, which I think is really, really helpful, especially like when I'm communicating like with a brand new client, so that I can make sure that I'm gonna have that person get over the hump of a truly embracing a healthy lifestyle change, which is something that's going to take a year, right? So there is no fast food drive-through approach to any of this. We didn't put the weight on overnight, if that's even what our issue is, or if we have some chronic illnesses as a result of the way that we've been feeding ourselves, we're not going to change any of that stuff overnight, because there was reasons why you kept going back into those behaviorisms. So that's one of the things I really value about that Transtheoretical change model, is it talks about pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. So when we're in that pre-contemplative state, maybe that was before we even went to the doctor. We're sitting on the couch and we're seeing some ads for weight loss or whatever else it is, and maybe we're having kind of an unhealthy snack at the time, and we start thinking, yeah, I should probably do something. But then you change the channel, you know what I mean? And so that's like an example of that pre-contemplative. And so I would make the assumption that contemplative would be more appropriate. Like you're at the doctor's office and now, oh my gosh, he tells you how ugly the baby is. You are hypertensive. You are flirting with diabetes if you don't have diabetes already, and a myriad of other different issues that he's going to write you a prescription for. So would you rather be taking like 30 pills a day, or just take 30 minutes to go to the gym, right? So maybe like that's when you're starting to be into that contemplative stage of, okay, I really got to start thinking about how I'm going to make those changes. And that's what leads into preparation. So preparation, now I'm doing reviews on maybe fitness centers around me. I'm looking at my budget to see whether or not I can afford this. I'm looking to see whether or not my employer offers a health benefit where my gym membership would be paid for through my insurance. There's a lot of different avenues that we have taken to put people in more of this preventative care mode instead of reactive, right? So then let's say that they decide on a gym, or they decide that they can do something at home. One of the great things about COVID is it really taught personal trainers and certified nutritionists and registered dietitians that they can virtually meet their client anywhere. So there is no space and time boundary anymore, because we've got platforms like this, right? So if I can't physically get you into the club, then maybe this is how I meet you at a time that's conducive to you. So now we're in that action phase where we did it. We went and found a certified personal trainer. We questioned them on their certifications, because we need that validation. So that if somebody is going to be giving me advice on how to exercise, then it better not be, well, let's do this
because this is how I look. So just do what I do. You know, like that's crazy. So if you have anybody that talks to you like that, tell them they're fired. And of course, too, there's scope of practice. A personal trainer is not a nutritionist. There's only 2 different entities that are allowed to legally prescribe meals, depending on what state you live in. And that's either a registered dietitian or a certified nutritionist. So once again, if this personal trainer hands you over a piece of paper and tells you got to eat cucumbers and tuna fish for the rest of your life, fire him, most assuredly. And then go and seek somebody that is a professional in that state, because they're going to look at you and they're not going to look at anything else. Just what is going on with you, some simple metrics about your physicality, and that's how they can appropriately respond towards how many calories you really should be consuming.
This is that theory is absolutely fantastic. Liz, why would you say that some people, they might want to, but they're afraid to step out their comfort zone and do the things that you just described in detail, the steps, to make sure, first of all, that they do have coverage of whatever that might be, and then move forward and decide to commit to getting in shape, commit to eating right, commit to all of these great things. What would you say might be some of the drawbacks why people are afraid to do that?
Sometimes it's easier to fail than it is to succeed, right?
Mhm.
And you know, if we're talking like about like our plus size community, you know, like those poor guys have been bastardized so horribly, you know, and looked at as lazy, smelly, like all kinds of just really just terrible negative vibes. And then they think that they have to actually like be fit to go into a gym. So there's a lot of gyms that discourage like the plus size community from coming in because they don't want their equipment to have to, you know, wreak havoc over all of that additional weight. That's why this plus size certification is so important for fitness centers, because not only does it allow your coaches to learn how to react and communicate with that population, but it also enables you to have ruggedized equipment into your gym. So if somebody's looking for a chair to take a break, then they know that chair is going to support their weight. But
Wow.
to your point, I think that I think self-sabotage is a huge thing. And that's why some people just never migrate out of that pre-contemplative state. And it's so unfortunate because the very one thing that they can do, it's your life, is take back your, you know, the exercise portion of it is really, it's so minutia in comparison to the nutrition. Nutrition is something that we don't educate ourselves on. That's why you see all these fad diets always popping up, because everybody is so conditioned to just being fed something. Think about it, you know, all the way from the time you were given a baby bottle to when you go to school, they hand you a plate of food. You go to a restaurant, they hand you a plate of food. And the assumption is that whatever is on that plate, you should be able to consume it to its entirety. So why aren't we teaching people how to read labels? Why aren't we teaching people like how to shop at the grocery stores? Why aren't we teaching people that the FDA is a liar? You know, all of these little products that you see that say sugar-free, it's not because there's no sugar in it. It's just they changed the name of sugar.
Right. You're right. And a lot of us don't even pay attention to any of those things. And so we don't know what we put in our bodies. Was it sugar? Was it fat content? Because we don't take the time to do that. You know, would you say it's hard for individuals to adapt to new health behaviors, habits, and mainly the attitude? Attitude is everything.
It is, but you know, I guess it's like it shouldn't be for physique, right? Like if you're gonna do this, it's not about like having a J-Lo booty or whatever, you know, maybe that'll happen by proxy, but you know, we should be exercising and feeding ourselves appropriately for our health. If you want to stick around and be there for your kids and your grandkids, well, set the example. Let's start breaking some bad behaviorisms now so that they don't wind up having to go through this uphill battle like you did. But it's just really imperative that at the end of the day, like we got to find somebody that is a professional in that space to help you on this journey. And that's exactly what you'll always get from
a certified personal trainer.
And absolutely. And not just that, but you build that relationship, you build that confidence, and you hit it on the head when you said, first of all, you have to take the leadership role yourself. If you're going to motivate, I mean, especially your kids and grandkids,
it's your life.
It's your life, and you have to step forward, I believe, and get out there. First of all, become confident that this is what you want to do. Secondly, you got to be dedicated. I call it the MDC theory. MDC stands for motivate, dedicate, create. Motivate, something have to drive you where you want to be motivated to get out there and do these things. And it's not just like you mentioned, a J-Lo booty or something like that. It's a attitude or health and fitness. And I believe that many of us have a challenge when it comes to, we start something, we only motivated for a couple of days or something like that, because we're not willing to put the D in, which is dedicate.
Well, it's an educational issue too, right? Like, let's say I get, my $10 a month gym membership, to the big box place, right? With all of the machines. And I have no clue how to work any of them. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to my safe place where I'm going to walk on this treadmill. At some point, you're going to get bored with walking on this freaking treadmill. But if you don't have the confidence or the budget, maybe to have a coach at that time, then your motivation, it dissipates because you don't know what it is that you should be doing. You don't know how to keep it going. So that's why it's so important, to do that research and see whether or not your insurance company will accommodate you for a gym membership, so that you can maybe use the funds that was going towards a gym membership into having a coach. Because at the end of the day, coaches, we don't want you for like forever. We want to teach you, arm and equip you to be able to handle independent exercise and keep yourself progressing. And then we cut the little umbilical cord and kick you out of the nest and tell you it's time for you to fly. So, if you've ever looked into getting a coach and been too intimidated because you think that this is going to be something, that's really expensive and whatever else it is. Well, you know how much a heart attack costs?
Nothing.
Well,
it's going to happen. You don't take your life. I'm talking about.
But those hospital bills, I mean, like, that's $40,000 the minute that you have any sort of cardiac event and show up on a doctor's table. That's $40,000. So, that's another thing, while you're in this contemplative or even preparation mode of you're making the change, like I'm going to make the change this time. I'm going to make it stick, because this time I'm going to look at why it is that I keep failing. Am I failing because I don't know how to progress myself? Am I failing because I'm getting a little too nervous about being successful? And as soon as I become successful, like, what does that mean? Do I have to keep that going on? So I think that this is just, this is part of the change, like what is the definition of insanity? You keep doing the same stuff every time and hoping to get a different result. Well, that's exactly what people do every time they become a New Year's resolution person. They've never peeled back the onion layers enough to realize, like, what is it that I'm doing to self-sabotage? Why am I trying to kill myself? Why is that? What can I do to affect change?
Well, you're absolutely right. And all of these great points. And just like my great friend Joshua Goldsmith just put down, and Josh used to hike with me 6 miles a day. Josh, I hope you do get motivated again and get back out there when I head back to California, man. And you're not fat, but just motivation, dedication, creation is what we need to be able to handle. Because creation is the final result. I mean, it's the results that we were working on. So I tell you, we're gonna take a station break, but we're gonna come back and we're gonna pick this up, because we got to get some more of this. And if you want to be part of this, if you're motivated, go to the comments, ask any questions that you like. I promise you, I'll get it on the screen and Liz will get you an answer. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll see you shortly after.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me. And I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken
a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. We got Liz here. She bringing it. I mean, she is bringing it. Hey, you know what? That last segment, if they would said that a health professional could preach, I'm talking about preach, tell you how it is. I'm talking about like, hey, you need to look at this. You need to think about this. You probably need to get your lazy self off that couch and go out and do something. Yeah, Now, Liz, you're putting it down, and we all need to be motivated, and we all need to understand that because you mentioned about a heart attack, and it doesn't. I mean, it could cost you your life, and could cost you a lot of other different things, and many of us need to take heed of that and understand that we can help try to prevent a lot of these illnesses from happening if we just change our mindset. Dr. Cooley, what are your thoughts on this so far?
Well, definitely, change your mindset. It's harder. I do believe it's harder as a person is older. When you're a child, your parents really do what they need to do to make sure you're following a strict regimen, and then you take it with you as you grow older. So it's a little bit easier. But let's just say, for example, if you're a person who just, all of a sudden your doctor tells you you're pre-diabetic, and that, it can get to diabetes if you don't change certain things. Someone who's used to eating a lot of sweets or just, whatever they want to eat, it's harder for them. They may do it for a while and they still check their blood levels or whatever, but they go back. And it's all about changing your mindset. It's all about changing your attitude. And, it's not a magic pill or anything like that. So speaking of magic pills, let's talk about social media. Let's talk about social media, Liz. So
get your wallet out.
Social media has so much information from these experts. And, sometimes some social media could be deceiving. They'll have like celebrities endorse this product or this person. And it's like, what? So why is it important, Liz, when someone has to figure out on how to take action, what's best for them, not to rely on what is on social media? Yes, you do your research, but why maybe don't put 100% faith and confidence in social media, in your opinion?
No, I mean, that's an outstanding question. And I think that it's so easy for us to just slide into that because like we're so desperate and anxious and all of the other things, you know, when you get told by the doctor that there's some problems if you don't rapidly change, you know, through diet and exercise, like then who knows what's going to happen the next time I see you. So it's super easy, right? Like you're sitting on your phone, you've already developed these bad behaviorisms to maybe scroll on social media a little bit too long anyway. So then you see the ad that, you know, has got the algorithm connected to what your thoughts were, like, I need to lose weight. So, you know, the FDA doesn't, they don't have any hardcore regulations when it comes to supplementation. So I literally could put like a picture of, I don't know, somebody, a bikini model on this water bottle here and say, if you drink this water, then you're going to look like her. I mean, it's disgusting. You know, if you are going to go down the road of looking into micronutrients, which I don't recommend because all we're talking about is a thermogenic or a fat burner. All you would need to do to replicate that is just put a lot of pepper in whatever it is that you're going to eat, because that's exactly what a thermogenic does. It just lights you up from the inside. From Olaresum capsicum, the very same peppers that are used for cops for OC pepper spray. That's what you're putting in your body. And why are we doing that? We're doing that so that we won't eat. Well, once again, let's get back to why it is that we have such a bad relationship or an uncomfortable relationship with food. And once we've discovered that, then the true learning can begin on how to have a better relationship with food. Food should not be your lover, right? You should go and find another human for that, preferably human. And then I think the other issue with just talking to these fit-fluencers, right? Isn't that what they're called these days? Fit-fluencers? I'm such a boomer. I don't know. But anyway, those guys, they can only give you generalistic opinions of what it is that you should do. But what if they don't know that you've got significant contraindications? What if you don't have the right range of motion for whatever the exercise is that they're telling you that you should do? Because for sure, if you do this exercise, you're going to have a 12-pack in 24 hours or whatever it is, you know? So, you know, there's a lot of ways that you can get yourself injured before you even truly start, because you're not having, that person that's giving you this information doesn't know your whole body. They don't know the certain measurables on how to know exactly how many calories like you should be consuming, or they don't know things about, especially in women, you know, when you get to be old like me, if I'm losing bone density because I'm not eating enough protein and I'm not keeping enough muscle around my skeletal muscle mass, then now I've already made myself having the onset of osteoporosis or panesis. You know, the whole adage of, you know, like grandma, like falling down and breaking her hip. Well, she broke her hip because she didn't have enough bone density. She didn't have enough muscle around her frame, because back in the day, women weren't encouraged to have any type of physique that would involve weight training. We were always supposed to just wear these little silly outfits and do jazzercise and spirit fingers. You know, I guess we're really good with our fingers, right? So
I remember that. But you know, why is it important? Because, you know, you're so dead on the spot when you said that, you know, you look on social media, they don't know your health history. They don't know what your limitations are. And just because you have limitations in certain things does not mean you can't do other things to compensate for it. So let's talk about food. You know, every decade, as you know, we age, there's certain foods that are not good for our bodies anymore. We have a bad reaction to them, or maybe we should eat them in moderation. So let's say we have some chronic illness, or, you know, it could be a headache, migraines, it could be anything. But how important it is to maybe look at the foods that you've been eating. Like, you can say, well, I've been drinking coffee, or I've just been eating this. I've been eating snacks every day, you know, I never had an issue. But Liz, in your opinion, why is it important to kind of experiment or talk to someone about, okay, maybe take a little bit this out and see how you feel about that?
No, I mean, you're spot on. So let's say that that you're presenting like with rheumatoid arthritis. Let's say that you have celiac disease, and there's a lot of connections between celiac and inflammation, arthritis. So if you can keep a food journal, so when you have flare-ups, go back into that journal and determine what is it that you consumed that caused this inflammation. Another issue, especially indicative in women, is intermittent fasting. It is there was a really great study that was conducted just as early as last year, proving that the more women stay in a fasted state, the more we deplete our hormones.
Really?
You know, women, we carry 3 different hormone strands, so everything is governed by the almighty thyroid. And if we're literally kind of starving ourselves, I hate to say that, in an intermittent fasting state, then you are depleting your testosterone, which is one of the main driving factors for having nice tight skin, not having so much belly fat, visceral fat, and then of course libido. So if you're exhibiting like, you know, those 3 factors there, like, you know, your sleep sucks, your libido sucks, you can't get rid of this constant puffiness around your waist, well, that's all indicative of probably needing hormone replacement therapy.
Wow, that's very interesting. And with women as we age, of course, there is, you know, premenopausal women. There's also menopause where a lot of stuff goes on, and also your metabolism slows, and then you're more risk for osteoporosis. And some women have osteopenia, which is, you know, it's kind of like pre-diabetes. You're almost going to get there unless you do something about it. But you mentioned intermittent fasting. So what if you're eating healthy during the intermittent fasting? Because I do that sometimes, right? I mean, I don't starve myself. I eat well. I eat the vegetables, fruits, you know, protein. No, I'm not, you know, so if you're eating the right foods during that time where you're eating and then you're fasting, you know, the other times, is that still good?
No. And that's exactly like what that whole study like showed or proved, I suppose I should say. The hypothesis was for females, exclusively females, when you keep them in a fasted state, what is happening internally with their metabolism? Well, the thyroid thinks that you're in a starvation state. So the thyroid is going to stop allowing you to burn anything. So all of these people that think that they can just not eat and then that's how they're going to lose weight, well, they are most assuredly losing weight, but it's not the one that they wanted to lose. So, you know, using qualifying measurement tools like a bioimpedance scanner or BOD-POD, something like that can actually measure like what your bone density is, what your skeletal muscle mass is. So that way, when you come to me and you're so excited because you lost 5 pounds, I'm like, cool, but what was it? Because if you told me that we just lost 5 pounds of muscle, then I know that you're not eating.
Wow. But one of the great things, and you mentioned something, I know we have to take a break, James, but one thing you mentioned is, yes, back in the day, women were not encouraged to do weight training because the stigma is like, oh, you're going to look like, you know, like a man or something, you know, whatever, you know, the thing is so, but we have been taught and re-educated that weight training is important, especially for, you know, your muscles and also for your bone density. So thank you for clearing that up as well. And Dr. Cooley? Mm-hmm.
Wow. This is, I was just sitting back, just amazed. But we're going to have to take a station break. But I tell you, if you want, it's not too late to ask Liz any question that you like. Remember, it's your life. Do something about it. Let's formulate a mindset where we're going to be become healthy, stay healthy, and continue to educate ourselves. We'll be back shortly after.
Still looking over your shoulder, still working on your defense. By now you think it's all over, 'cause you worry too much and you don't
CEO of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, Options, Opportunities, / the Choice Program. Our primary mission is to help build the foundation of our youth and young adults and communities. And we encourage everyone to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. And the way that you do that is, first of all, you got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you are here for a purpose. You also have to be able to step out your comfort zone and do things that you probably didn't think that you can do.
Life is a series of circles and cycles, crazes and stages. These experiences teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to It's Your Life with James Cooley. James is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. James is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get you equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, James Cooley.
Wow, fascinating conversation during that last segment. I just took myself out to sit back and just absorb all of that education. And I want you young ladies to continue because there was so much great information that you all shared, great questions. And our viewers out there, if you want to be part of this, you still got time. We got about 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes left in the show. You got time to ask this great young lady any question that you like. Back to you, Dr. Cooley.
Thank you. And Liz, this is a great conversation. And for the sake of time for this last segment, I'm just going to start shooting off questions. Okay. Social media. We've seen things where they're promoting like keto gummies, ACV keto gummies, and all these testimonials and pictures of people who've taken these gummies, put you in a state of keto, whatever it's called, and they lose this weight and they lose 5 or 7 pounds in 2 weeks. What do you think of keto gummies, ACV gummies, apple cider vinegar gummies, whatever? What is your thoughts on that?
I think it's all a placebo, but once again, like everything inside of us is so ingrained to just receive food. If this person says that they're the authority and they say that I should get this and then I can look like this, then yeah, of course I'm going to want to get that. But we didn't make any changes. Once again, we're just skipping right towards the very end state of that transtheoretical change model. We always wind up in action and maintenance, but we didn't do the work in the beginning. We didn't do our due diligence and research and talk to subject matter experts that aren't fit influencers, people that actually have like credentials, something along those lines. And here's why. Keto especially is a big pet peeve of mine as an exercise physiologist, because my specialty is in the cardiac and pulmonary rehab realm. And what is disgusting to me is that we are getting 20 and 30-year-olds having cardiac events because of keto. So keto makes a lot of sense if you're one of these like crazy ultra marathon or ultra whatever athletes, right? Because ketosis is designed to convert fat into ATP, carbohydrates. But we need carbs to survive. So there's no longevity to it. And it was most assuredly not meant to be a lifestyle change program diet. It was meant to solve a problem so that these ultra athletes would be able to reprogram their system so that they can get through this crazy exercise that they're doing. So you take like just an average person that is now consuming a diet that is largely proteins and fats. What do you think that is happening to their heart? Like their poor little arteries are going to become so clogged and so violated because of the insertion of fat without exercise, which is why they're having a cardiac event.
Wow. So one things that me and Dr. Cooley do, we exercise every day. I take off for Sundays, but I exercise. I do a HIIT training. So I have cardio day, then strength day, then a hybrid day. And I drink tons of water, and I'm not a soda or juice drink or anything like that, So for me, what I feel works for me, and it all depends on the person, is I have to eat like snack foods in moderation. I can't eat like I used to 10 years ago because the metabolism, despite what I do, as you get older, it is slower. I mean, it's just a fact. So you mentioned women in intermittent fasting, and I'm gonna turn this over to Dr. Cooley. Is intermittent fasting good for men, or you just or the study just referenced women in general? And I'm gonna sign off here.
Yeah, so that study was particular to just females. So I am not a certified nutritionist or a registered dietitian, so I think that this would purely just be my opinion. But I think that intermittent fasting is just a control mechanism. So if you don't have the discipline and the accountability, then I think that that's why that works for a lot of people, is because they know that they only have X amount of hours to be able to get in their calories. My suggestion, though, for overall health is to try and eat between 4 to 6 meals a day. We're not talking huge meals, because we're just trying to keep our thyroid nice and happy and metabolism wanting to work as an incinerator, because the more you're consistently confluencing it with food and digesting it, then your body never thinks that like we're going to be in this hibernative starvation state.
Wow. And all you mentioned thyroid. I've been challenged with that for over 40 years. So I know exactly what you're talking about with that. I want to switch it just a little bit, talk about that great facility that you have. What makes your Anytime Fitness different than most other fitness centers?
Well, Anytime Fitness, like as a whole, is a Fortune 500 franchise, and it's just it's an exceptional brand. Of course, like I'm partial to it because I got a grant from their CEO on opening at the gym, right? But it's a coaching model. Just knowing that your membership comes with a coach, whether or not like you want to pay for one or not, gets you access to like this really awesome app that is it's very AI driven. So it's going to ask you a bunch of questions about your goals and how often you want to come to the gym, et cetera, et cetera. And then it postulates a custom exercise prescription based off of what it is that the person has. So they'll already have a guide and intuitiveness as they start their exercise program. So that's one of the things that I love about Anytime Fitness as a whole. All 5,000 of these clubs subscribe to that. They all carry these bioimpedance scanners, heart rate monitors. Everything is health driven. For my particular club, I think one of the uniquities is that I have 2 providers inside the gym. One is a physical therapist, and the other one is a hormone replacement therapist. So if I have a patient that like I know that they're sticking to their nutrition, I know they're exercising, they're doing everything right, and that freaking scanner is still not showing any progression, then it could be because of the almighty thyroid. And so it's really just nice to just do a little handoff in the same club, so that we can find out from this care team who's going to be the best person to get that patient to progress.
Wow. We down to the last couple of minutes of the show. When, I always hate when you have to sign off, especially when you're talking about something that's so helpful and so great. What are a couple of takeaways that you want our viewers and listeners to get from this discussion, and how can they reach out to you if they wanted to?
So you can check me out, Anytime Fitness Callaway. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, like, it doesn't even have to be me. There's a zillion of me's out there, so just do your due diligence in your local area. Or if virtual is a comfortable play for you, then find a virtual coach that has the certifications that we talked about, especially from the nutrition standpoint, and make the change. And it doesn't have to be something great. It can be something like, I've got 5 minutes. What can I do in 5 minutes? I could go walk around my house. I could go walk, whatever it is. Just get up and move. Movement is medicine. Exercise is medicine. And so I don't care how you start, but just get there.
Wow. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show there. You're invited back again, and we're going to do this because this is so much helpful information that our viewers and our listeners need to know. I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Denise Cooley for putting together another outstanding show like she always. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our listeners and our viewers out there for always tuning into the James Cooley Show. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. We'll see you.